So what you're going to do is you're going to log in here and you're going to go to sign up. And then here you're going to enter your personal email. This is going to be an email that you have access to, not one that we have set up. So I'm going to do a personal email. Okay. And then after that, after I've done that, I'm going to enter just a password. Okay. Cool. Then we are going to sign up. Okay. I'll save that. Perfect. Now we're going to go home. I want to get to the main board, so I'm going to click on this up here. And then from there, you're going to go to domain registration. First, just have to register my email. So you're going to get that too. You're just going to have to register your email. And then after that, the next thing that you're going to do, once you do that, and I'm doing that right now, okay, you're good to go. So now I've just done that and verified my email. You'll do the same thing. Then after you verify your email, the next step is registering a domain. So this is going to be the first domain that we buy. We're going to use this domain to then go ahead on Google Workspace, and that's going to be our primary domain. Okay, so we're here on Cloudflare registering our domain. So for your domain, for example, let's say ours is going to be Search Funder Test. That's the company that we're operating at. If your company is alignment capital, that's your company, and your domain is alignmentcapital.com, we would want to do something like alignmentcapitalinfo.com. The key is do not use, I repeat, do not use your company's website domain for any mass emailing. So, right, let's say our company is Search Funder Test. What we're going to do here is we're going to do Search Funder Test. Okay. And now this is going to bring up different options of domains to buy. So as you can see here, this option, searchfundertest.com, is $10.44. You have searchfundertest.org, $7.50. I don't have data on if .com or .orgs provide better results, but I've used pretty much both in my outreach. So you can use either one of these, right? Let's say we go $7.50 option for .org. Then all you're going to do is enter your information here. You're going to use whatever you need to pay it, and then you will have your first domain. Now, with that domain, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead here in the Google Workspace create an account process, asking our business domain name. So like I did before, I purchased that domain of searchfundertest.org. And now I'm going to go ahead, click next after I enter it. Now it's just going to say email sent to this, won't be affected until you set it up with an email account or with this account. And then here's how I'm going to sign in. So the first username, I'm just going to use my own name as the username. So Matt at searchfundertest.org. Password. Always make sure, now this is very important, when you're going to be adding a ton of Google users or email users, I like to have one uniform password that I know that I can use for every single account. So if I have any issues with one of the email accounts, I can go ahead and log in easily because I know the password because it's the same for all of them. So for example, I could do SF123 exclamation mark, right? So this will be my uniform password, or sorry, it needs 3 characters. So this will be my uniform password for every single user that I create, and we'll go over that further. So I'm going to agree and continue. And I will save this as well, which I think always important. Just save. It will make your life a lot easier in the future. Okay, now, important. This is going to offer you a business plan, a business standard plan, and there's a cheaper option. Don't worry. Every single email user is not going to cost $12.60 a month. Regardless, you can't change this here. They're just upselling it. Don't do an annual plan. It's just going to be easier to do it a monthly. It's going to be more simple. So just do business standard here. Try free for 14 days. Now it's going to bring you to a checkout page. You're going to enter in your information. Entered your payment information. Again, it's not going to charge you immediately. It's going to be charged after trial, and it's not even going to be this amount. It'll be a lower tier that we're going to choose. You're going to be able to have it free for 2 weeks while the emails are warming up. So we're going to skip for now here, and I'll explain the warming up piece later. Now you're going to start using your Google domain. Perfect. Continue. After this, it's going to have us activate the Gmail for everyone here. So we're going to proceed with activating. Cloudflare is our host. Great. Continue there. And now what it's going to do is have a Gmail activation code. So we're going to get an MX record here. Go to Cloudflare. Log in. And now we're going to take this information here like we did before. And we're going to create a new record. So domains, manage, update DNS configuration. And now once we're here, we're going to add a record. There's the previous record that we added. And now we are going to go here and see priority 1. It's an MX record. So scroll down till you'll see MX. MX. There we go. Priority 1. Mail server is going to be smt@google.com. Just going to copy that and paste that. And then lastly, TTL set to lowest. And name's going to be at default, so we're going to do that as @. Okay, we're going to go here. We're going to confirm that. Now it's going to be getting the domain ready. Perfect. All right, we're all set up. So now we're going to go and explore Google Workspace. No need to answer this. A couple different things to do that it's recommending. However, you don't actually need to do this. So I would just mark done with all these because this is not going to matter. You definitely don't want two-step verification. And then once you have all these marked, we're going to get to the next step, which is an overview of a whole account. And this is where we're going to go back and adjust the billing that we went over earlier to change it from the plan that they had us go on, they auto-forced us, to then changing it to the plan we want to be on. And we want all the users that we're going to add to be on as well. So just marking these done. Almost there. And remember, this is not a normal Google Workspace account. This is strictly for email, right? So it's going to be a little bit different. So now we're here. We're going to get to our account. Now that we're at our account, perfect. Alrighty. So just checking, as you can see here, some random things that I added to your profile. And as we're home here, we're going to check and make sure everything looks good. Okay, perfect. Now I want to get to Google Admin. So it's going to have us sign in. Say I understand. And then we are here in our hub. This is going to be our main area. Now, with this, again, I would change this name to a name that you know you're going to recognize as being your email, your motherboard email. So I have Matt at Search Funder up here. Again, X is the name that I provided. I would change the name. Make it a name that revolves around your business, and that will make it a lot easier. I would say your business, then email motherboard. That's the way I would title this right here. Okay, so now that we're here, I'm going to get into the next steps in the next video, which are adding users to that plan that they had us auto start on. So we're going to go here, subscriptions, and then once we're in subscriptions, click on Google Business, and now we're going to go on downgrade here. And now we are going to select downgrade to the lowest option, $8.40. Perfect. Next. Check out. Okay. And now this will be in 2 weeks that this is starting. Okay. There we go. Paid service starts in 13 days. Okay, perfect. So please notice here too, your Google Workspace Business Starter subscription has a 10 license limit. Start your paid service to add more users. So you're only going to be able to add 10 email users before the actual paid service starts. So in 13 days, that's when you can add 10 and beyond. 11 and beyond. You will only be able to add up to 10 users before the start date of paid service. Just remember that, because when you're going to try to add your 11th, it'll say you're not able to. You're just going to have to wait. So now when we go back home, we're going to add a user. To add a user, it's very simple. All you're going to do here is you're going to click on, there's going to be an option in the future when you have more domains, but for the first domain, you're going to have search funder test right here. I like to vary. You're going to be doing 2 users per domain. So here's one domain. Let's say we have another domain that's searchfunderinfo.org. Then you're going to have 2 users. So what's a user? So for me, I like to do something like this since I like to email people directly from me. So I like to have it as this, right? Matt@searchfundertest.org. But I do know that I did my first user was actually Matt@searchfundertest.org. So this one, I'm going to be doing mattchristu@searchfundertest.org. Here, this is important. This is where I upload a profile picture. I always like to upload a personal headshot that I have, and then also I create a password. And if you remember, you probably know what password I'm going to do, right? It's going to be this one. The one that I had set up initially, right? It's the same one as actually logging into my login for this account, for the email. So here I have my password that I use. I'm going to uncheck this box. I don't want them to have to sign back in, and I'm going to add a new user. So that is perfect. Now we have a second user. I'm not going to need to do that. That's going to be done, right? And now I'm going to have 2 users set up on this. We have this one that's Matt@searchfundertest.org, and now I'm going to refresh my page, and you're going to see I have 2 set up. Now you only do 2 per domain. This one already had one because it was the initial login. However, let's say we were adding, let's say it was another domain that we were doing it for, we would have 2 new ones added, right? So we would go here, we would select the domain that we're doing it. It's this one. It's the one we have here. And then I would go ahead and try a different variation of my name. Or you can do a different variation of whoever's name you're using to do outreach. So Matthew@searchfundertest.org. Perfect. Go down here. I would upload my profile picture, create a password, which is going to be that same password. And now I'm going to uncheck this box, check it out, make sure it looks good. Perfect. And then add a new one. Okay. So that technically would be the second if you're doing it for a domain in the future, but that is how right there you add users. So now that we have users added, and that's going to take a second just to load. It will load here eventually. I'm going to show you guys the next. In Google Workspace, we have our domain in Cloudflare. What we're going to do is adjust the DNS settings. So I'm going to go to Manage Domain, manage this here. Then we're going to update DNS configuration again. And now importantly, we're going to be adding 2 different records here. DKIM, DKIM, and then the DMARC, DMARC. So first things first, for the DMARC, it's going to be just this right here. TXT record _ DMARC, and then content is going to be this here. So I won't have a copy paste, unfortunately, for you guys, but just pause your screen here and copy exactly this. Now, really importantly, this is going to be your domain. So put your domain, right? For our example, we have searchfundertest.org. So I'm going to have here reports at searchfundertest, and I'm going to make this .org. So searchfundertest.org will go here, but the whole beginning will be there. So that's going to be the DMARC. So I'm going to enter that here at the same time as you guys are entering it. So here we're going to go TXT. I'm going to go back over. I'm going to go _ DMARC. And as you can see, dmarc.searchfundertest.org has a record within content. Perfect. Now we're going to go back. And luckily I can just copy paste. And we're going to take this. Test.org. Okay, perfect. And then we're good to go. I'm going to save that. All right, DMARC is now set up. Now, I'm going to add another record, and this is going to be the DKIM. So, how to find the DKIM, how to set it up. So, we're going to go Home, Apps, Gmail. Then we're going to go to Authenticate Email, and now we're here. Make sure the domain that you're choosing is set up, searchfundertest.org. We're going to generate a new record. We're going to generate that. Perfect. Sometimes you have to generate twice. So if it doesn't show, just go back, generate again. Okay. We're going to copy this here, the host name. We're going to bring it back here. And first things first, of course, you're going to have TXT. Now we're going to go back and we're going to copy the txt record value and we're going to bring it back here, and then we're going to paste this and we're going to save that. Now we have our DMARC set up and we have our DKIM set up as well, and we're protected. Now I'm going to show you guys the next step, which is going to be how to make sure that all this is functioning properly using a tool called MX Lookup. You're going to enter the domain that we created, our motherboard domain, which is going to basically help us check this domain to make sure that it's all set up and it is safe, basically, to send emails, that it's going to be actually delivering them into people's inboxes. So here, we're going to do a search just to enter the domain that you created, your motherboard name. It has 2 users attached to it, and then it's going to bring up right here in a second the results. And I typed the wrong name, so that's good. If you type the wrong name, you will not get the right results. I was confused there. All right, so search funder test. All right, perfect. There we go. Do not mind this first one. You're going to get a yellow circle with an exclamation mark inside. DMARC policy not enabled. Do not worry. That is fine. As long as you have DMARC record published and DNS record published, you are good to go if you have these two. And your emails will be sending and delivering. So next thing, we are going to get started on Smartlead, which is the sending software. I've sent close to 1 million emails through this. I trust it. It's simple. It's easy to use. I really like using it too. And the founder is a cool guy who is continuously coming out with ways to iterate the software, which I really appreciate. There's another software called Instantly. I haven't used it. I've heard a lot of good things about it, so you can take a look and compare if you'd like. However, I've used Smartlead. It's around $94 a month to send a ton of emails, sending 20, 30,000 emails a month for $94, so it works fine. I think the cost is there too. I think it's very similar on Instantly, but just another option for you guys. So you're going to enter your information here, start a free 14-day trial, and we're going to go on to Smartlead for the next part, which will be add those email users that we created on our Google motherboard profile, those 2 users connected to that 1 domain that we have made so far. So you're going to click OAuth Setup here. Now what you're going to do is go back to Google Admin, make sure it's in Google Admin. You're going to search up API controls, and then now that you're here, you're going to go manage third-party app access, okay? And now you're going to say configure new app, click that, and then you're going to go back here, copy client ID, go back, paste that, searched up, boom, we got Smartlead, click on that, continue, trusted, continue, perfect. Now we're going to finish, and now Smartlead is a trusted app by Google, and we're going to go back to Smartlead. We're going to be able to connect our account. So if you guys remember, this was our first email, right? This is our motherboard, our first email that we had created. We're going to go here. It was loaded into Smartlead, as you can see here. I'm going to do another one just so that you guys can see it. So connect account, use another account. To find another account, I'm going to go back here, go back home, right? If you remember, we added 2 users, right? And I'm entering my password here, my motherboard password. Now that I'm logging in, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to users, I'm going to manage them, click manage, and then I'm going to see, okay, who are my other users to add based off that initial domain? Remember, we're only supposed to have 2. I just did 3 because this initial one was used to set up the account. Normally, I would just do 1 on top of the initial. You want 2 users per domain. So anyway, I'm going to go here, and I'm going to use this one. This is going to be the second domain or user that I'm going to log in with, connected to this searchfundertest.org domain. So I'm going to copy that, go back to Smartlead, paste this, click next, and if you remember, we use that password, that general password, so I know and I remember it. Boom, connect to my new account, click I understand, no thanks to signing in. I'm going to continue with Smartlead. I'm going to allow it to access my Google account, and now, bada bing bada boom, we are in with a new email. It's connected, and this is what you're going to do for every single user, right? Once you have users here and you have many domains set up and you have all these users connected to domains, all you're going to do is do that to add them into Smartlead. Now, we're going to go into setting these emails up, okay? So first things first, general. So the way that I do this is I like to do a bulk update. So I would add all your emails first before adding any warm-up or general settings, right? So here, this is what I would do. I would click on this top left box, then I would do a bulk update. So per day with a 15-minute time gap, and that's just an amount that's been healthy for my emails. You could go lower if you would like, to be safe. This is something that my emails I've seen sending and maintain high reputations and keep them healthy. So 20 per day per user has been fine for me. Now, with email signature, I like to keep it simple. I go my first name, then my last name, then my position, then my company's name. Then I like to put our business line. And then lastly, to adhere with can spam, which is essentially the legal rulings on sending mass emails. So there's can spam laws. You have to make sure you're in compliance with them. There's two important things that we're going to focus on, which look up can spam yourself, get a clear understanding and education on it, because it's very, very important to make sure that you're in compliance. But two things that we're going to focus on. Number one is providing a business address. Okay. And then second is going to be an unsubscribe link, a way to unsubscribe. We're going to include that later on when we do the actual campaign itself. But this is going to be how the setup looks for my signature. Again, feel free to copy it if you would like. This is just how I do it. And then after this, we're going to head over to warm-up, and we're going to get our warm-up ready. So for warm-up here, I'm going to do a bulk warm-up status. I'm going to go for 20 per day. Again, we're sending 20 emails, so I'm going to match that with 20 warm-ups. I'm going to bulk update, bulk daily ramp update. So this means it's just going to go a little bit. It's going to go low to high, increment value increase. So we are going to go here. I'm going to set it at 20 for my max number, and then I'm going to go to 15. So it's sending anywhere from 15 to 20 emails, warm-up emails per day. Reply rate, I'm going to set this at 35%, which is a healthy kind of number. It's also assuming what you think your prospects, how they'll be responding to you. A little bit hard to tell with mass email, but you should have a close-ish idea with what you think response rate should be. 35 could be a little bit high. It might be a little bit high, and we can make adjustments, but that's just the number that I've seen work for me. So there we go. I'm going to save that. And then we will have our emails warm up. As you can see, reputation's at 100%. As of right now, we haven't sent any emails out. Nothing has bounced or gone to spam. So we're good there, but warm up is enabled. We're good to go. Just our initial domain by going to home in Cloudflare, domain registration, and then register domains, right? Then we search domain. So we were able to get one domain, our motherboard domain. Now it's time for a subdomain. So, right, a subdomain, if our domain was searchfunder.com and the first one we did was searchfundertest.org, the next thing to do is create additional subdomains that we can attach new email users to. So I'm sure you're understanding here. You want to get as many domains as possible and then add 2 users to each of those domains, and that can fulfill your mass emailing needs, right? So here I would search up something similar. Remember, never use your original domain. You want to use something related to your name. So here I would do searchfundertestinfo.org. Okay, I would search that up. Okay, beautiful. There's a .org available for $7.50. Now I would purchase this same way I purchased the other. Now, once I have that purchased, what I'm going to do to add this into my Google profile is I'm going to go back to admin, back to my homepage, and then I'm going to go down. I'm going to search up domains. Okay. I'm going to click manage domains. Now I'm going to add a domain. All I'm going to do is add that domain that I just created. Once I do that, I'm going to add domain and start verification. After I have added this new domain, it's going to have me prompted to create my MX records, if you remember, which we had to do before to get our first motherboard domain onto Google Admin or Workspace. Now, what we're going to do for this also is once we have that domain made and we have it prepared in Cloudflare, we're going to go back. We're going to go to domain registration, manage domains. If you remember, we'll have the new one here. All the new ones will be here. But right after you add a new one, you're going to go ahead to manage, right? Update DNS configuration, and you are going to make sure, just like this first one, you're going to have the DMARC and the DKIM added in the same way that we did it before. You're going to have the MX and the CNAME previously from when we initially set up the account that you're going to do before you add the DMARC and DKIM. So after you do that, remember you're going to go back to MX Toolbox. You're going to search up the new one, right, that you've made, and you're going to see that you have these 2 green checks. This yellow exclamation mark is there. If those 3 are there, you're good to go. That is added. Now, once you have that new domain ready to rock, you're going to go back to Google Admin, and you're going to be able to add new users to that new domain. So you're going to add a user. It's going to bring you here. You're going to click here. It'll be a little drop down. You're going to click on the new domain you just created and then add your new 2 users. Once you have your new 2 users added, you're ready to go back into Smartlead and you're ready to add those accounts. So you're going to go back to OAuth setup, connect account, and now it's going to prompt you to log in to your new users that you just created and add them to Smartlead. And that is how you're going to add new users into Smartlead. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to build a campaign. And before we do a campaign, we're going to have to get leads. So to get leads, I like to use Apollo. There's different ways to get leads. There's different ways to go out the whole process. This is just the way that I've done it that has worked for me. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get leads. So first things first, we're going to sign up on apollo.io. I am going to use this email here in the motherboard to sign up. Okay. Then I'm going to sign up for free. You could do the same thing. At the same time, while Apollo is loading and you're getting signed in, just go ahead here and you are going to go to searchleads.co. Searchleads.co. This is going to be how we're going to scrape the leads from Apollo. So I'm just going ahead here with Google. This is going to remember all the information on the account, which will make it easier for me. And now I'm just going to go through here. Just going to enter this information. And now we're good to go. Click people. This is where we're going to be searching. Now you're going to have search leads at the same time. Click pay as you go on search leads. Okay, so we're both set up with Apollo and search leads. Now again, search leads is going to scrape the list of Apollo. We're not actually making a paid account on Apollo. We're going to be using a free account and we're going to be scraping it, which this website search leads is for. Again, this is just how I've done it. You can do whatever you want. So we are finding leads here. These are people to speak with. So let's say for us, we want to find people that are going to be business owners. Let's say they're the owner of a pharmaceutical company in California. So first things first, I'm going to go on verified emails as email status. This means that these people have emails that are pre-verified by the system. It means that we're not going to have to question if every single email is a catch-all or an invalid email, which basically means our emails will not land. Of course, we're going to be able to make sure that the emails are legitimate emails, which I'll show you guys a little bit later on, but it just makes the process a little bit easier for us. So we're going to make sure it's verified. Click that right there. Now, on to the second. We are going to be looking for job titles, these people that we're looking for. So I'm going to search for owner. This is where you can use your imagination. So owner, right? I want to find people that are going to fit the title of the lead that I'm looking for. So maybe co-founder, right? Co-owner. We're just going to look up different titles or variations of the type of individual that we're trying to speak with. So I'm going to do just a couple for the start. Try to think of as many as you possibly can. Okay, that's going to be job titles. Now next, after job titles, I'm going to go into location. Location, as I mentioned before, we're going to try in California. Perfect. Okay. And now next, we're going to go ahead and look for industry and keywords. Now this is important. This is going to be exactly what you think it is. We're just going to search up the industry tag that's going to be tied to what we're searching for. So for here, we said pharmaceutical. So I'm going to search for pharmaceutical. Perfect. Okay. Now this right here is going to give us the results of what we're looking for. So as you can see, there's 161 different individuals with verified emails that are titled co-owner, owner, or co-founder in California that have pharmaceutical companies, right? Now, if you want to take it a step further, and let's say in this acquisition process or in your search process for an acquisition for a pharmaceutical company, you wanted a predefined range of employees. So as you can see here, it shows you the ranges of the sizes, right? So we don't really want, let's say we don't want companies this big. This is perfect, these sizes. So I'm going to go ahead and just check these boxes off. And then this will give me a list of those individuals that I'm looking for. Now, importantly, once I have this list done, I'm going to go ahead of 151 people. I'm going to go ahead and copy the URL. I'm going to go here to search leads. I'm going to go ahead, enter my name, enter my email. I'm going to go ahead and enter a link, which is going to be the link that I got from this search result. And then I'm going to enter the amount of leads. So if I go back here and check, I had 151 leads. That's going to be 1,000. This is the lowest possible amount. This is going to be $3. It's $3 per 1,000 sets of leads. So you can do the math and see what that would cost. It's very inexpensive to get these leads compared to having an actual Apollo account. File name, I'm just going to title it Pharma Owners M&A. And then I'm going to do the date. And then just click outside India. I'm not a robot. And then what I would do here is I would click submit. Now, once I submit it, I'm going to get an email, and it's going to say in the email, thank you, we got your request. Please now click this link to pay. You're going to go ahead and pay. After you pay, it'll be between 5 minutes and 1 hour that you get these results. Now, for bigger lead lists, search leads will take a little bit longer. I have used them many, many, many times. And if you have a larger lead list, sometimes you might have to email them and just say, hey, after you pay, respond to that email and say, hey, I haven't gotten my leads yet. Okay, this is a legitimate website. I've used them a lot of times before. It really works for scraping leads from Apollo. By search leads, I'm going to go ahead, click on that. It's going to bring me directly to Google Sheets. Now what we're going to do is we're going to clean up this list. So importantly, what we are going to need is the first name. We don't need the last name, so you can get rid of that. Personal email, we don't need that. We will not be emailing personal email, so get rid of the personal email. We can get rid of mobile number. We can get rid of full name. We won't need that. And then from there, we can get rid of here. We can actually keep those two. We'll get rid of the LinkedIn there. That's the company LinkedIn. We don't need that. We'll keep their personal LinkedIn. That's fine. And I like to just kind of move these here to keep it more organized. These are all a bunch of leads from Kroger that I was prospecting for my personal company. So don't worry about these actual leads. They're not the ones that I had searched up before. We're going to get rid of their headline. We don't need that. We already have their title, and titles are going to be clean. It's just going to be their actual title. Headline would include customer service rep at Kroger, which we don't want. We're going to use this information to plug into Smartlead, so it personalizes it. We're going to get rid of this, and we'll just keep their website URL, their LinkedIn URL, which I believe is their personal one. Just double checking. Perfect. That's their personal one. So you can also use this whole list, right, guys? You can use this to actually prospect as well in terms of calling off of. These are numbers for the corporate company, just for Kroger, but this will give you different numbers for different companies that you can call up and ask specifically for the person. That's also a place where maybe you keep the last name if you are prospecting like that, or you want to have a sales rep prospect like that. So here, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get rid of the state. If you are prospecting in different states, that might be important. I'm not. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and move the city, and then I don't need any of this either. So this is where I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete all of this. And it's important to delete these rows as well. Sorry, my mouse is going a little crazy. It's important to delete these rows because we're going to be uploading this into Smartlead, right? So we're going to want to make sure that our data is organized. So now, make sure always just title it, keep it organized. So I'm going to name, I would name this whatever the leads are. So you can just come up with a name for it to organize it. So I would come up with Kroger Management And then what I like to do just to keep my lead list organized is I actually like to count the number of leads. So 804, and then I like to put it in the title. But that's going to change in a second. So once I do that, the next thing that I'm going to do is actually I'm going to go here to email, and I'm going to go and I'm going to create a filter. This is going to adjust the number in here, and I'm going to get rid of blanks because I can't do anything with blank emails, right? Now I'm going to have this list. I'm going to click this top left bucket, which is going to highlight everything. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go down here to a new sheet, and then I'm going to paste it. So this is going to give me a sheet with no filter, and it's just going to give me the actual leads with email. Download it as a CSV, and then after I have that CSV, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to search up millionverifier.com. Once you get to that millionverifier.com website, you're going to create an account. You're going to sign up. It's pretty cheap. It doesn't cost a lot, and then you're gonna buy leads. So I bought 10,000 leads. I think it's in like the $20 to $40 range. Basically, it's probably less than that. And then from there, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna upload my leads. So this is just gonna go ahead and verify the actual leads that I already have. It's just gonna protect and make sure that when I'm sending out emails, I'm only sending them to people that have legitimate emails, right? So it's gonna give you good, risky, and bad. What we want to do is download only the good. It's going to go a lot faster than it actually is showing, but here's some examples here so you guys can see. It's going to go ahead and filter through. So here I had several thousand emails. I had around 4,000 emails, I believe, and then it went ahead and it gave me 1,400 good ones. So these ones, if I had sent emails to these, it would have potentially bounced, which could have really hurt my email health. When it lands in spam or bounces, what happens is it reports back to Google and says, hey, this bounced, it went to spam, hurt the reputation, essentially. So your reputation will be hurt. If your reputation keeps getting hurt and hurt from email, sending emails to emails that are bad, what can happen is Google just says, okay, this is a spam email. We're going to automatically send all of these emails now directly to spam, which is not what we want because that's how people don't see your email. So that's why it's so important to filter your leads over and over until you have a clean set of good leads. So we filter again, initially on Smartlead, then we come here, refilter, then we're going to get these good leads, and we're going to use these good leads back in Smartlead. You're going to have less volume, but volume is not really the goal here. It's to get good quality leads that we can deliver in, because what's awesome is having 500 leads to deliver in now, and then 500 next month, and the next month after. What stinks is having 1,500 now, 1,000 of them don't land, and then our email gets destroyed, and then next month you can't use it all, and you have to delete the email and buy a new email and go through all the effort that we went through to create users and new domains. We don't want to do that, so that's why filtering is so important. Now I'm going to wait for this to go and filter, and then I'm going to download these leads and then add them onto a Smartlead campaign. Next thing we're going to do, we got a report loaded, right? Any of these reports here, just an example of one report loaded. But you would take your report and you go download report. As you can see, good emails only. Click that. It's going to give us all of the valid emails. Now we're going to hop over to Smartlead, click upload CSV file in our campaign that we created, and now it's going to bring us here to the front, and I'm going to get this right here, the good leads. Perfect. Okay. Now for these buttons here, we just want to make sure that we don't have this checked. We don't want any block list emails, because that would mean if we send an email, it's going to go to spam, which we don't want because it affects our email health. In the unsubscribe list, we don't want that either. Import leads, even if they bounce across their entire user base, no, we don't want that either. Ignore the leads that exist in another campaign, okay? You would technically would want that because they're in another campaign. We're going to save that. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going to go and get our first name. That's important. Email is important. Then next is going to be title. That's also important. That's going to be here, custom field. Then you're going to need organization name, which is just company name. And then you're going to need city, which is location. So city, company name, custom field, email, first name. Remember, you have to map these every time you bring them in because we are going to use these in our emails. We're going to create some customization. So very important to have these. First name, email, custom field for title, job position, company name, organization name, and location for city. These are your columns. Sometimes they will be different depending on what's downloaded into the CSV. So we're going to save and go next. This is what I like to send. These are some templates that have worked for me in all the emails that I have sent. So I start off subject. I like to talk, number one, about whoever I'm sending an email to, of course, just with the idea of sales, talking about the person that you're talking to. People like to hear their own name, their own company, something about them. Never want to make it really about yourself. So I like to start off with first just mentioning their company in the subject line. a specific focus they can only talk about in their language. So even better, if you're emailing someone who has some type of technical language, or really something only they would know in their world. So if it's IT, if it's their owner of a pharmaceutical company, something about something that happened related to their company in the news, something that is it's going to get their attention, and only they would really speak that language and know it. That's what you want to do in this subject line. That's my goal always. I'm trying to do something that they will notice. It'll stick out to them and go, oh, that person who's ever emailing me, that's something that I do know about. It's technical in my world. Somehow they know about it. It's going to intrigue them, right? Then I like to include some type of time frame or something else, other type of personalization here. That's typically my subject line. I like the pluses. I think they work well. I've seen them work well compared to other stuff such as quick question or question about your industry or question about your company. This has worked for some reason. These pluses, and then something they can talk about in their own language. So moving on to the email. This is what I like to use. I like a straight up introduction. I say who I am. Tell them this is my company. I explain why I'm reaching out. And then right after that, I get into a challenge. I know I kind of contradicted myself when I said you want to talk about them right off the bat. I think this is important in this specific email because we want to right away talk about a challenge. We want to explain something. They have a problem. They're probably facing an issue. We want to catch their attention right away. I like to talk about them in the subject and then get back to in here, probably talk about them in a way that's trying to talk about their problem. I prefer to talk about the problem because a lot of companies or a lot of people emailing are going to go right off the bat into, hey, I saw you're with X company and something about their company. I saw online that you guys did this. That's fine. I just think it's overused right now. I'd prefer to talk about them in the idea of talking about probably some problem or challenge they have in the beginning. So that's what I did here. I bring up a challenge. I say, hey, there's, if I'm guessing if you could find a way to basically pay less per month and then have these other benefits, you'd probably want to do that. But then I say it's not that easy to get that too. So then I hop right into a value proposition. I say that's what my company does, and then I go into a little bit of an objection handle saying, all right, you might already have something in place, but we do all this stuff. Here's our value proposition. And in the value prop, really important to be concise. Typically, it's good you can talk about one problem. Usually I like to save other problems for other emails, so I would do normally 3 emails or 2 emails, and I space them out between 2 to 3 days each. And in those emails, I like to talk about different problems. Always do a different subject. You don't want to do a follow-up. Never ever say, hey, just checking back in, just following up. That lowers your status right away. It doesn't look good to show them that you're following up, that you couldn't get a hold of them on the first try, right? I just like to send a new email with a new subject, fresh start. I do not send follow-ups or check-ins. I just send new content with different problems that we're solving with our different value propositions or the same value proposition. So this is just a layout of my email. Again, this is what worked for me. It's not perfect by any means. I'm sure people could find stuff that wouldn't work for them or they don't think works. That is fine. And if you do, let me know. I'm always happy to change if there's better stuff out there. But this is just what I've done with Warm and Light CTA. These are CTAs that have worked for me. I like to keep them pretty simple, warm, and easy, nice and light. Interested in learning more? Can I send a short video? I use Loom for that, by the way. I really recommend Loom for setting personalized videos about their company or about you. If you're open for a chat, I'd be thrilled to find a time when it's convenient for you. Mind if I send you R and then a free valuable asset? Sometime for me, it's a pricing calculator. It's something like that. But anyway, point is here, Warm and Light CTA. I'm not asking them to do a meeting in person or a meeting over the phone in this specific email and other emails I have before, and I actually have in this one, but not this one. So feel free to use this template. If you have any questions about it, let me know. This is kind of what I've done. The second piece about this I want to touch, the spin tax. So this is spin tax right here. It's going to be one of these little guys. I actually don't know what it's called, but one of these little guys. Then you're going to have different options in here. So I like to do at least 3 of these. It's just going to be variations of a word or a phrase. This is really important because it tells Google that every single email you're sending is different from the last. What Smartlead is going to do, it's going to go ahead and pick one of these 3 to be inside this email. So I did it here, as you can see. I did it here. I did it here. I did it here. I did it here. And I did it or sorry, I did it all here. So as you can see, I did it around 4 to 5 times. Very, very important. This will also help you not land in spam. So I know it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to do this and provide different options, but you're going to want to do this. You're going to separate the options by these little bars, and I'm going to have these outside. So remember, this is the layout of it. It's going to look like this if you preview it. It's going to go here. Hi, David. We haven't met yet, and you're going to get rid of intro challenge. Get rid of all that. You don't want that. But then I get into it, and as you can see here, my guess is this little part here, right? It goes to, I'm assuming, chose the first one. So as you can see, it chooses. Very important. Now, also, with Smartlead, it's really cool in the idea that you can customize. So as you can see here, first name, right? The way to do that is you're just going to go here, and you're going to go click on this insert variables, and then you're going to choose whatever you want. So I would choose title, right? Boom. So you can do that, and then all it's going to do is going to insert, right? So if I left it like that, you can preview it and see what it is. Hi, David, and it goes to his position, which we found in the lead in the actual file that we found through Apollo. So pretty cool. You can customize through there. You can use that how you would like. I'm sure you have ideas popping into your head. I'll show you the next example. The last thing here is signature. This is just going to put in that signature if you remember that we had created before. Okay. Now here is the second email. This one, it's a very simple email. As you can see, it's going to be a mutual name that you both know, plus their company name, plus coffee. Okay, this is to get coffee. I know I mentioned before I don't include getting coffee or a hard or CTA, something in person, a meeting in the last one. This one I do. So I just change it up, try something different. And yeah, it's pretty simple. I ask if they know a mutual that they might know that's in their area. It should be someone that you assume they do know. And then from there, I just explain why I'm reaching out. I mention right here, I use these variables. I inserted them, right, so they could see. And as you'll see here, I'm going to preview it just so you can check it out. Do you know Joe? I saw you own Storyline Church in Golden. Cool, right? So it fills in that information. And then I get to my CTA. So that is the basics of email, and you can create A/B testing if you want different variations of it, if you want to include a different phrase. I didn't include spin tax in this, but you should include spin tax in yours. I just haven't added it yet. So that is a couple emails to try. Again, I would do 2 emails separated by 2 or 3 days, and I would do different subjects, different topic, and that's how I would do it. Next button after sequences, I go to setup, and this is the first option. So I'm going to go here. Or sorry, this is the second option. And here we're going to go sender accounts. You're just going to click the accounts you want associated with this campaign, right? So if I had 20 accounts and I wanted 10 for one campaign, 10 for another, I would choose 10. Here we only have 2, so I'm going to choose these 2. All you do is you're going to select 1, 2 buckets, and then you're going to go ahead and save. One more thing I forgot to mention. When you are writing sequences, make sure to save. Always save. There's going to be a little button here that says save changes. Always click that and save it, okay? Because it will not save, and then something could happen, and you'll lose out on all that copy that you wrote. So scheduling campaigns here, I already have it set. I did it for Denver. That's where we'd be sending this campaign out. Then I have these days chosen. I do not send over the weekends. I think that's an easy way to get marked as spam. If you want to send over the weekends, feel free to. If you think your prospects will be more likely to respond, feel free to do that. Period between sequences, I like to send. I start off a little bit early when people are starting their day. I find for property managers or our targets for my company that works pretty well. And then I like to end it around 12 hours after. So that's my sending window. I send an email every 20 minutes. Start date, you just choose whatever day you want to start here, and then max number of leads per day. Feel free to do however aggressive you want to be in leads per day. I tend to go in the 300 to 400 range. And then after that, the last part here is campaign settings. So this is very important. We are going to first click replies to a message. That means when someone replies, that's done. They're not going to get the next email. That is okay. Then after that, do not track opens, do not track clicks. This is just, it's not going to do anything to help you. Reason being, when you're tracking opens, tracking clicks, apparently Google doesn't like that. That's pretty much the explanation I have. I just know it hurts. And it's not something you should do, is what I've heard from the email pros. So don't track click opens, or don't track link opens, don't track email opens. Next, prioritize sending patterns. I like to do 100% follow-up, so that means that there's going to be, it's going to follow up and complete the previous sequences it was sending rather than send a new one, which is good because we want to make sure it's all timed. And then lastly, or sorry, not lastly, importantly, we're going to have isolated lead email provider settings. If you have a ton of leads and you're sending Gmail to Gmail, that will help. It will be helpful in terms of having accuracy and landing consistently delivering. Now, you don't have to. It's something that you could do that would help. If you don't have a lot of leads, then I would most likely send to all, just try to reach them. Sometimes sending to different providers could hurt deliverability, just so you know. Now, intelligent AI lead categorization. I like having intelligent lead categorization set up with replies. It's just nice to have. It'll show in an inbox. It'll show you kind of if you get a message or an email response, it'll tell you, it'll auto filter using the AI telling you which one it is. You still have to check the email and see, and you might have to respond, but it's just nice having that assistance. High bounce rate. Like to automate this just in case that something starts happening with bouncing. I want to prevent my email from getting to a really unhealthy reputation, so I'll put that at 4%. It's going to stop it relatively fast. And then unsubscribe. Very, very important part of CAN-SPAM. As I mentioned before, you have to be compliant with CAN-SPAM. You must have an unsubscribe message in all emails. I just put unsubscribe right there. You could change the wording around however you'd like. If you don't want someone to see unsubscribe, for example, if you're sending someone an email asking to see if you can have a meeting with them to get a coffee, it looks really weird seeing unsubscribe. So maybe you want to change the wording around, be a little creative, add something that doesn't look like it's a mass email, but in a way kind of, is in the gray area. You get what I'm saying. So that is it. I'll save these general settings. And then next up, we have a final review. This is going to be where we're just going to check our emails, make sure they look good. Very, very important, right? Because we don't want people getting emails that have weird stuff mixed in and spin tax that's not correct. And right, we want to make sure that everything looks good. It looks like a good email, or people will mark it as spam, and that will hurt your deliverability. Even though it's a good email landing in an inbox, people can mark it as spam. So here I like to send the test email, send it to myself. I'm going to check it out, make sure it looks good, and then we are good to go. And then after that, it's going to send, and the next step is going to be to schedule campaign. And that is it, guys. Campaign is scheduled. That was a full tutorial on how to create emails, create the Google Workspace, use Cloudflare to create a domain, add it to get Apollo leads, then filter those leads on Verifier, then bring all the email users to Smartlead, get the campaign started on Smartlead, get the leads here, write the copy, start the copy. Hope that was helpful. Again, I'm not a professional at this. I've done it a lot, and it's worked really well for me. Please make sure you follow CAN-SPAM and you're compliant. And if people are saying unsubscribe, make sure you delete them from the list. And yeah, it helps, guys. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to email me, matt@bigleagueclean.com, and I'm happy to chat and help out. And yeah, hope this was helpful.